Because we had that problem
Hey.
2 weeks
I
ago.
remember. Dad,
Good.
after he got home from the show, he was watching it.
And there it went. Alright. 10 minutes. Recently declassified documents contain Soviet-era reports detailing many cases of possible USO encounters. Unidentified submerged
objects, yeah.
ufologists.
Uh-huh.
What was it? We had the Plek machine at Sweetwater, and I got to take a look at what it does and the machine itself and so on. Well, we started supplying the word Plek for any use of the F word. Oh, Plek off.
I've been using fracking.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've used that forever.
Fracking? It's a fracking pile of frack. Frack off, frackers. Big story.
Whistleblower reveals multiple secret space programs exist. Dr. Michael Sala, exopolitics researcher.
Better than salad.
Salad head.
I didn't even take him less seriously.
Well, you know.
Scientists found the first fossilized heart in a prehistoric animal. It's in a fish.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe they already had a fossilized heart.
Rhacolepus.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm streaming.
You'd think they'd already have one of those.
Publicist says Prince was cremated. They don't have results of the autopsy yet.
Nope, but his drug dealer spoke out about the $40,000 at a time he would spend on.
Oh yeah, Prince lived in Prince World.
Well,
A great bit I posted on Facebook about Kevin Smith talking about Prince.
Mm-hmm.
He had reposted it on his channel from one of his Kent State talks, and talking about going to Prince's house to shoot a documentary at Paisley Park, and how it'll never see the light of day, because that's just how Prince works. One of his producers over there at Paisley Park was like, yeah, I've shot and produced over 50 music videos for Prince. Oh, awesome! What songs? You'll never see them. Yeah, he just fully produced brand new songs that no one's ever heard. Prince just puts them in the vault.
So that they can be released later and probably make zillions of dollars.
Just because.
He doesn't need it.
Yeah, just because.
Eccentric people, man.
Yeah.
Just can't get enough.
I don't know what's up with people like that, but sharing that on Facebook. Post. Hi YouTube.
Hello YouTube.
Sharing that on Facebook. Nope, not that one. Standard Byte. Oh. Hi YouTube. I don't have a unique channel name yet because we don't have enough subscribers. But like mine was cool because I've been on YouTube for damn near a decade. So the previous channel we were using, you could just go to youtube.com/DavidPlus, and now you have to go to youtube.com/a longer ass random URL string.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching one of my favorite YouTubers, which is I Superwoman I, and she actually had this video that was live, and you could like move it, so it was like a virtual reality thing.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, 3D stuff.
Yeah, that was so really
cool.
weird. I love the delay here. That's cool. Because I can see it actually happening on yours.
Wow, I just watched myself pick my nose. Yeah, or something. Or something.
Like you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was shooting at geese, and a lot of weird things are going on. And I found out when he died that he had a collection of women's shoes, and well, that explains his weird behavior.
Prince wore women's shoes.
Qua.
I don't know. Kevin talks about the Prince wearing heels and when he wears sneakers and all that stuff too. So Prince wears heels pretty much all the time. Wore heels pretty much all the time.
I was just gonna say,
Was he just a short person?
Probably not just short. He was also very, very strange.
He was also Prince.
Yep.
So there is that.
Mm-hmm.
That one has to contend with.
What was his actual name?
Prince.
Roger. It was Prince Roger or something.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
Now he's the artist formerly alive as Prince.
That's just
Dark.
It is. It's dark. Too soon.
Still funny.
Yep.
were people that had never heard the song Kiss in my choir class the other day. I was just like...
It's a good one.
Although they also got mad at me because I'd never heard Purple Rain.
Mm-hmm. I saw Corey Taylor cover that. That was cool.
It's Noah's birthday today.
Yep. You want to wish him a happy birthday on the air?
Yeah, I'll probably do that.
Okay. I haven't heard a thing from him since he was here.
Yeah, I know. He's a weird dude. Not gonna lie.
His dad was at Battle of the Bands that I went to.
Were they covering it on?
Yeah.
Remotes.
He doesn't look...
We don't have the budget for remotes.
Well, you know.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe for the Access show. Who knows?
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I don't know when I'll have time to do a fucking remote.
No, this is strictly volunteer.
Oh.
Just like
I
any
don't
other
have
function.
time to do them, but be something. We're gonna get started soon.
Yep.
It's almost time.
Yep. Do my little sound check thing. If you wanna, I need to be paying more attention to what you're doing if I'm gonna fly this umbrella on my own.
Right? You don't have to do a live stream or nothing. It's,
Well, yeah.
you do you. I'm just sharing it because I'm closing the other page down by May 1st.
Okay.
So,
Aww.
because I don't need it. I just made it up. Basically, all I do is open Audacity and just smack record.
Cool.
Wow. My bottom lip feels really weird.
Well, let's can up and
Yep. Test.
Ow.
Yep, we're good. Wowzers, that's a hot mic. I should probably have put my hair up. Oh, for God's sakes. Oh.
Publicist says Prince cremated, celebrated in private ceremony. Okay, just checking levels.
Mm-hmm.
Rockets are things.
Rockets are things. Right?
Who knew?
Wow. Stunning observation, Holmes.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
Oh, you weren't talking right into it. That's why it sounded weird.
Well.
Always.
Alright, I need these papers in my lap.
I need room to stretch. Tall man.
I was just gonna say that's probably very
Apparently,
difficult for you to come by.
They lost contact with Kepler for a short time.
Uh-oh.
And got it back.
God, that's alarming.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have liked to be in the office that day. Yep. Spinning wheel of death is gone.
That's strange.
Whoa. We looked like we were made out of stained glass
Well,
for a second.
Russian files and all that, you know.
See,
I don't know what that was.
I wanted to look into this one. Multiple secret space programs.
That's a long one. That's why I was like, cut that down. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just skim until you find something that catches your eye.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's mostly tongue in cheek. I don't really want to spend too much. I'm gonna lead off with fracs.
Okay.
So-
I was also looking up some additional earthquake information kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. Yeah, I'll share the folder with you because I want to follow up. I didn't do earthquakes this time.
Okay.
It's just too much info. So I'm going to do a second article or story on
Okay.
the induced earthquakes.
Induced earthquakes,
Yeah.
yes. And here we go. Earthquakes. Like the ones from Ecuador and Japan. And,
Tonga.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, 159.
All right. Ready to rock.
Me too. Me too.
And away we go.
Clicking record. As soon as it switches on my phone. Hey everybody, welcome to the Standard Byte. This
Welcome.
is your host David.
And this is your host, Leah.
Yeah, it may sound a little confusing. Usually on 2 o'clock, you guys are used to hearing, welcome to the Working Reader Call-In Hour. Well, it's been retitled.
It's been retitled because of the content that we kept coming up with and we kept doing.
Yeah.
And now we just kind of have a more generic. It's all the interesting things that we find in the news and on the internet.
It didn't fit just being the Working Reader Call-In Hour. I kind of had that name as a placeholder anyways. So, we've got a new logo. You can check us out live on the YouTube live stream. Just go to facebook.com/standardbyte and you're all set. It's right there. The link's there, as well as our three what do you call it? 3 Sunday spotlights. That's the word I was looking for some reason.
And there it went.
Yeah, and those are available on Facebook as well. Those are more visually centric articles. Let me pull them up here and I'll tell you exactly what they are. If I can find it. It's here.
We're just going to keep right on.
Everything's changed, so bear with me. But the YouTube's live streaming. We've got people watching that. You feel free to comment on that as well, if you want. I've got the link to that on YouTube. We don't have a custom URL yet for YouTube, so you're just gonna have to do it the long way. Or you go to YouTube.com and search for The Standard Byte.
BYTE.
Yep.
Yes.
Tagline: a mouthful of interesting from around the web.
I like it.
It's fun.
And educational.
Yeah, the first spotlight we have on the Facebook page for followers of Facebook is 25 wild action sports photos shot during the golden hour, which is just some magnificent photographs from 500pixels.com. And the next one is this is also from iso.500px.com. Top 20 notable national parks in the USA to add to your bucket list. Just some gorgeous photography.
I'm seeing one now, yeah.
Number 3 is a little bit concerning, but worth it for the photos. This is the beautiful birds that may soon be lost to climate change. That's from quartz.com over at qz.com. But let us appreciate their beauty before many are lost forever. Very just beautiful photographs of an eagle there on the cover, bald eagle. Anyways, we are going to be doing some fantastic stories. What we got? Kepler spacecraft was lost to NASA for a little while, and then it's been recovered and put back on its mission. We're going to do a little bit about Prince. Prince passed away earlier this week. The new contract for the solar electric drive for the mission to Mars has been awarded.
All right.
Yeah. And then scientists have found a fossilized heart in a prehistoric animal. First one, and I just thumped the desk, and that was really loud.
Yes, you did.
That's a great one. Shakespeare, we're going to get into his insults.
Those are my favorite.
It's fun. It's so great. They work so much better than modern ones. They really do.
That's actually the title of the article and everything.
And we've got some tongue-in-cheek articles based around conspiracies that I found that were fun. So we're going to talk about that. But first, I want to lead things off with another longer story. Today on the Standard Byte, I'm going to shed a little light on a topic that I feel passionate about. I take these liberties every once in a while, and my last expose was on the Nixon administration.
Yeah, and it was the war on drugs.
Manufactured nonsense, all that stuff. Yep. Today, I want to shine a little light on fracking. Many of you have heard about it. Many of you have already decided on whether or not you support it. What I want to do for you today is shine the lights of truth and logic on you all about this particular topic. Whether you support fracking or not, for whatever reason, you need to know how it may impact you and your family.
Pertinent information.
Absolutely. Just like the last one, logic and truth is what will conquer everything. And we need it. And we need to see things clearly.
We do.
And you need to be aware of the numbers. Earlier this April 2016, Environment America and Frontier Group released their latest report on fracking throughout the United States. It spans a total of 53 pages, and you can find a link to the entire PDF on our Facebook page. We'll make sure that's up before the end of the show. It's facebook.com/standardbyte. You can also follow us on Twitter at standardbyte.
Yep.
So, no thes in the social media markets. No thes. It's not the Facebook. It's Facebook.
It is just Facebook.
Yep. Their report, entitled Fracking by the Numbers, details the unassailable facts gathered by Frack Focus and others, the exact impact that fracking has had on our water, land, and climate from a decade of dirty drilling. What exactly is fracking? Well, let's explore it, huh?
Let's have a look.
Fracking is a combination of two different technologies used to extract natural gas, which is typically methane, from layers of shale rock where it is laid trapped, buried deep under the surface of our planet. A combination of hydraulic fracturing and horizontal drilling are used to release these collections of gas from within the rock. The gas and oil, on some occasions, is then extracted through the same drill pipe and stored on the surface for use in powering our planet and its infrastructure. Sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? Well, let's talk about horizontal drilling for a second. What is that? Well, pun intended, well, it is our recently achieved ability to literally bend a drilling shaft 90 degrees in a given direction within the space of about 3 meters.
Wow.
3 meters is all you need. So if you're tapping, exploratory vertical wells, you find that seam, you can, within 3 meters, you have a full 90-degree bend in 3 meters that you can follow that. Yeah. Wow. So it allows oil and gas companies, once they find a particularly nice seam of gas or oil, to follow that seam horizontally rather than being limited to a much smaller section of that seam in traditional vertical drilling. Mm-hmm. So if you're interested in more details about the differences between traditional vertical wells and horizontal drilling, I would suggest you jump on Google after you're done listening to this report. Back to fracking in general, it has enabled our country and others throughout the world to extract huge amounts of oil and gas that was previously inaccessible just a decade ago. That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, I mean,
It sounds like just human innovation, but we don't really spend enough time thinking about whether or not we should do something just because we can do it.
Yeah, it's what's much less focused on is the fact that, as the report from Environment America states, quote, fracking has also led to tremendous environmental harm and put the health and safety of communities across the country at risk. Quote, since 2005, according to industry and state data, I like saying data sometimes instead of data.
That's like one of the instructors at Sweetwater, he always calls it the database.
Yeah?
D-A-T-T-A is how he pronounces it.
Oh, data?
Data.
Database.
Yes, he always pronounces it.
But this is industry and state reported information. So stuff that comes from the fracking companies themselves. More than 137,000 fracking wells have been drilled or permitted in more than 20 states. Permitted. Data.
And here we go, guys. All right.
Data.
We're just going to invent language as we go.
I know. I got a bogey hanging out, and I don't want to get rid of it right now. Ugh, jeez. That's so annoying. But this, all right.
I can't even. Way to disgustingly redecorate the radio station.
I'll get it in a second. It's live, folks. I'm so sorry. More than 137,000 fracking wells have been drilled and permitted in more than 20 states. But the scale of fracking's impact on our environment can be difficult to grasp. See, fracking primarily uses water as a resource for forcefully fracturing the shale that traps these deposits. Since water is incompressible, it makes for a pretty great tool in this regard. What many fracking advocates routinely forget to mention is that they don't always just use water. They use many different chemicals as well. So let's crunch some of these numbers, huh? Since 2005, the amount of... Now remember, this is all industry and state data just collected and reported in this Environment America report. Since 2005, the amount of water used for fracking, and this is a conservative total based on industry reporting, totals at least 239 billion gallons.
Jeez.
That's some serious water consumption, folks. And that's water.
Yeah, it would have been usable before they did that.
Would have been.
Did you see what happened to one of the rivers in Colorado? What was that, like 2 years ago? Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah.
And we'll get onto that, too, because it happened in Queensland on the 23rd of April.
Really?
RT reported about it. But that's not all. As I mentioned earlier, they don't just use water for fracking. The report states, quote, fracking uses vast quantities of chemicals known to harm human health. According to industry-reported data in the Frac Focus database, oil and gas wells fracked across the U.S. between 2005 and 2015 used at least, get this, 5 billion pounds of hydrochloric acid. That's a caustic acid.
That's disgusting.
I don't know what that was. 5 billion pounds of hydrochloric acid, 1.2 billion pounds of petroleum distillates, which can irritate the throat, lungs, and eyes, cause dizziness and nausea, and can include toxic and cancer-causing agents, and 445 million pounds of methanol, which is suspected of causing birth defects.
Ugh, of course it is.
Alongside many other chemicals, the exact identities of which, well, those totals are alongside a bunch of other ones. And the exact identities of those chemicals are still unknown because they're kept secret as proprietary information.
Like,
here's what we're pumping into the groundwater of your public spaces. Oh, sorry, we can't tell you because it's proprietary. You might have to drink this one day.
Yeah.
Go frack yourself.
Literally.
Inject water in through your intestines and forcefully ignite a bung rocket with nitroglycerin, please. When this chemical cocktail is blasted into the shale formations, causing them to fracture, there is a strong likelihood that vast quantities of it can and will leak into the groundwater of the surrounding area, and people living and working nearby these sites can additionally be exposed to these chemicals if they enter the drinking water after a spill or if they become airborne. Quote, a recent analysis by researchers at the Yale School of Public Health, reputable institution, identified 157 chemicals used in fracking that are toxic. The toxicity of 781 other fracking chemicals examined by the researchers is unknown. This is further detailed on page 10 of the Environmental America Fracking Report if you want to, Environment America Fracking Report if you want to check it out. Also, quote, a 2014 study by scientists at Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory reported that estimated 10% of chemicals used in fracking fluid are known to be toxic to humans or aquatic life, people. That's also detailed on page 10. This frack juice, because that's basically what it is.
It is. It's a concoction.
Once created, pumped in, used, and then pumped back out again is called wastewater.
Imagine that.
And has to be stored somewhere. This long-term storage is typically... Oh, by the way, if you want to call in, I forgot to mention. We're still a call-in show, folks. If you want to call in, our question of the week is, how do you feel about fracking? I'm not going to answer any calls till I'm done with this story, so don't call in till that, because I don't want to be interrupted during this.
Okay.
But the number is 260-424-8728. Again, that's 260-424-8728. Write that down so you can call in after I'm done talking and we can argue. Yeah. So I'm not going to answer any calls till then. You can just keep ringing. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, wastewater. It has to be stored somewhere. Mm-hmm. So this long-term storage is typically accomplished by means of a retention pond or, in equally numerous cases, disposal wells.
I'm sorry, that sounds like...
They're exactly what you think they sound like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where wildlife can go and live or eat things out of it.
Yep. Disposal wells are even the same. I mean, there can't be any plainer. They're wells that have been depleted of useful resources and then used as storage for wastewater generated from fracking. This process has its obvious flaws, mainly the fact that all of the rock surrounding the well path has been fractured and is not structurally suited for storing this wastewater. Excuse me. I wrote this whole down thing as a script because
this whole down thing
as a script. I'm already having an anxiety attack from this information.
Well, calm down, Dave.
No. But it's not suited. I mean, you could just it's hydraulic fracturing. You're blowing up the rock underground to release gas and oil, and then you're going to try to pump something down into that newly porous creation that you just made and expect it to stay there? As a result, it leaches into the surrounding environment, including the groundwater and drinking water for communities adjacent to these wells. If you haven't seen the many videos of people literally lighting their tap water on fire,
whoa,
you need to. YouTube.
I've not seen it, yeah.
Tap water on fire. Just search for it.
That is unreal.
Yeah. Literally a lighter, a kitchen lighter.
Yeah. Running
their tap, methane coming through their frickin' tap from the groundwater and their fracking tap.
I was just going to say, I
wasn't going to mention anything. If I do screw up, I apologize, but I'm going to breeze past it. Censorship is hard when you're very passionate about a topic.
It really is.
So, I just want to apologize ahead of time if this offends anybody. But yeah, so many contaminated private wells.
That's despicable.
Yeah. Quote, wastewater from fracking wells includes not only toxic chemicals injected into the well, but also naturally occurring radioactive material that can be brought to the surface. I mean, you've got natural plutonium and cesium and these uranium in its most basic form is just found in the ground. So, quote, fracking wells produce at least 14 billion gallons of wastewater in 2014. Wastewater production data is not available in some states with the most wells, including Texas and North Dakota, meaning that this total amount of fracking wastewater produced in the United States is higher than is estimated here. More information on wastewater amounts can be found on page 21 and 22 of the report. Pennsylvania regulators have confirmed at least 260 instances of private well contamination from fracking operations since 2005, a number that is likely a severe underestimate. That's on page 10. More details of that. Data from fracking wells in Pennsylvania from 2010 to 2012 show a 6 to 7% rate of well failure due to compromised structural integrity. What did I just say? You just blew the darn thing up.
Yeah.
It's not going to be structurally integrated or integral. I don't know what the... It's a word and I'm mad. But you can find more of that on page 11. Now, let's not forget about the fact that this wastewater is also stored, as I mentioned before, in above-ground open-air retention ponds.
That sounds delightful.
Just like other lakes, ponds, and ditches, these open-air cesspits of toxic, wretched soup go through natural cycles of evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. And you can imagine what this means. It leads to contamination of the surrounding area by acid rain, as well as other manifestations of diseased wildlife and a permeating stank that just destroys quality of life for people. You think it's the same thing with these massive pig farms?
Yeah.
Pig poop's got to be stored somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's stored in open-air cesspits, and then it evaporates, and fecal matter poisons people. And
there was an incident like that last fall.
People are checking this stuff out with quadcopters and stuff. And
yeah. There was something like that in Huntertown last fall. I remember it was so putrid I couldn't even drive with my windows down.
Yep.
It was sweltering hot.
Yep.
And I didn't have any air conditioning in my car. I was just absolutely miserable.
Yeah, drives me bonkers.
Ugh.
It's a massive cluster growth, man. It's one that's primarily designed to garner the largest financial influx in the shortest amount of time possible for these oil and gas companies, regardless of the impact on the surrounding area. And I'm going to talk about the few regulations that they have already, the very few that they have already later on in this piece. Now let's continue with some additional summations from the Environment America report. Let's move on to water consumption, because that seems to be a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
We kind of have states like California and Colorado that are in massively drought-stricken parts of the country right now. And, it might be interesting to support and conserve the water. Kind of for that stuff, you'd think.
Maybe.
As I stated near the beginning of the story, fracking requires a vast amount of water. At least 239 billion, that's with a B, gallons of water has been used in fracking since 2005. It's an average of 3 million gallons per well.
Oh my God.
3 million gallons per well. Water used for fracking becomes unsuitable for most other uses than fracking another well. That's all you can use it for. Farmers can be particularly impacted by the oil and gas industry's demand for fresh water, especially in drought-stricken regions. Drought-stricken regions of the country. In one water auction in Colorado, yes, they literally auction it off.
I'm sorry, this is ridiculous.
In 2012, oil and gas companies paid up to $3,300 for an acre-foot of water, as much as 100 times what farmers typically pay. So, they're outbidding farmers.
Because they have
like
the
nobody's
power
business.
to,
Yeah, they have the money and the backing and the greed to do that.
Well, but they're not being regulated. This sounds like the EPA should have put their foot down. The Environmental Protection Agency, I mean, hello.
Yep.
Wasn't that the point of creating that?
Problem is, it's all chaired by lobbyists of the oil and gas company now.
I mean, that's like Monsanto having arms and hands and fingers in all areas of politics.
Yeah,
Former board members.
The Monsanto CEO colloquially refers to his own company as Monsatan because he's heard other people say it and he thinks it's hilarious.
Well, yeah, it's laughable, but it's.
One thing I don't agree with Bill Nye on is his support for Monsanto.
He supports Monsanto.
He's not paid by Monsanto, and he's not, but he's gone and checked out their operation. He was not, and now he is.
Okay.
So it's an interesting dichotomy, and if you want to see more stuff on that, you can just go on YouTube and Bill Nye Monsanto.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very simple keywords there.
Yep. 3 million gallons per well. So, quote, water used for fracking becomes unsuitable for most... Oh, wait, I already read that. The environmental impact of fracking isn't just limited to this wastewater that I've been talking about. Nope. Let's talk about methane. The resource that is the driving force behind this process. And my daughter's in the studio. Ayla, you can move that chair if you want. Go ahead. Move stuff. You don't got to... It's not going to pick up that loud on mic. You're fine. Lift it up. Let's talk about methane, the resources driving force behind this process. When we calculate our, quote, carbon footprint, we typically only account for what? CO2, right?
Yeah. Carbon.
It's what we all hear about all the time, and the amount of carbon dioxide that we're pumping into our atmosphere from our cars and other gas-burning sources. But any calculation of carbon footprint would be inaccurate if one did not take into account methane, a gas that is
truly dangerous.
A gas that is produced extensively by the livestock industry worldwide. But what does the livestock industry have to do with what we're talking about? Absolutely nothing. The focus is on what both the livestock industry and the oil and gas industry have in common, which is methane. Now, methane is the gas we make when we fart. It's a product of anaerobic digestion of organic materials. So cows fart a lot.
Yep.
And so a lot of methane is produced. Oil and gas industry is digging to these wells that are basically the remnants of ancient seabeds that is where organic material has been digested over millions of years, and that's where they're getting their methane from. So methane is a far more destructive greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide, trapping up to 100 times more heat in the atmosphere than CO2 within a 5-year period, and 72 times more within a 20-year period. There's some debate whether or not it's 86% more or 72% more. I don't really think it matters. It's fracking horrible.
Yes. Yes, it is.
OneGreenPlanet.org, in their article, Methane versus Carbon Dioxide, a Greenhouse Gas Showdown, parses the information and the comparison quite clearly and simply, so I urge you all to check it out. Just Google methane versus CO2, and that should be one of the first articles to come up. As those numbers indicate, methane has a massive impact over a relatively short period of time on our planet and influences climate change greatly. When it comes to fracking, Environment America states, quote, methane from fracking operations adds global warming pollution to the atmosphere. Bringing new fracking wells into production in 2014 released at least 5.3 billion pounds of methane. That's equivalent to the annual global warming emissions from 22 coal-fired power plants.
Wow. This is unreal.
And that's just in 2014.
God bless it.
5.3 billion pounds of methane. Methane, a global warming pollutant 72 times more powerful than carbon dioxide over the course of 20 years, is released at multiple steps during fracking, including during hydraulic fracturing and well completion, and in the process of transport of gas to end users. Most of the natural gas we use in this country is methane, and who hasn't smelled a gas leak before?
Yep.
That's
right.
methane.
Yep.
The building I work at, outside of it has a massive gas thing
Meter?
for all the powering, and you can just smell it coming off the thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to just no one else smell that stuff. Apparently not.
Apparently not.
They just have no problem with it leaking out. It isn't just the impact on our drinking water and atmosphere that we need to be concerned about when it comes to fracking. The destruction of our natural landscapes, the very thing that makes the Earth, is also a major problem. Quote, well pads, new access roads, pipelines, and other infrastructure built for fracking turns forests and rural landscapes into industrial zones. The infrastructure to support fracking has directly damaged at least 679,000 acres of land since 2005, an area slightly smaller than Yosemite National Park.
Wow.
I like to say Yosemite.
It does look like Yosemite.
I know. It's just, give me a Yosemite sandwich.
It's like Socrates, you know?
Come from a damn... Yeah, Socrates.
That's the reason I remembered how to spell Socrates.
Poor Socrates. He's Socrates.
Socrates.
He is Socrates. What else was I saying? Yosemite, that's right.
Yosemite.
Yeah, 679,000 acres destroyed land. As well pads, roads, pipelines, and other gas infrastructure replaces forests and farmland, the nation loses wildlife habitat, and the remaining wild areas are increasingly fragmented and inhospitable to wildlife. You can see the earlier mentions about toxic retention ponds and acid rain for examples of that I mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. For example, the mule deer population in Wyoming's Pinedale Mesa declined 40% from 2001 to 2015, a period of extensive gas development. Well operations are supposed to restore damaged landscapes after drilling operations are complete. But full restoration is nearly impossible, especially as oil and gas producers struggle financially and may lack the resources to fund land restoration. And that's the problem. I see a lot of I see a lot of propaganda, if you will, for fracking. Pictures of just this little tiny standpipe out the top, basically a capped well, mm-hmm. with a little concrete circle around it, and then just grass and wildlife and trees and flowers and butterflies. Mm-hmm. And that's not the case at all.
No.
That is a flat out lie.
A PR stunt.
To show people how less invasive it is. And then they try to compare that to wind turbines and stuff like that. And I've seen a side-by-side cartoon comparison of how the wind turbines are all just flat, cracked, dusty earth and stuff like that, and then the fracking part's all green and happy and stuff like that.
The subtle marketing there.
Yeah, they can go frack themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't. I can't even. I seriously can't even.
We're approaching prescription level. Can't even.
At this point, a physician's assistant at least would have to write me a prescription for the amount of I can't even. So they can't restore the area. So it just turns into a massive wasteland of industrial products. And the list of environmental impacts goes on and on, not only including direct air pollution, but earthquakes as well. Air pollution from fracking contributes to the formation of ozone, smog, which China is dealing with a lot right now.
That's because China is very, 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 very densely populated.
Using a lot of coal, too. Mm-hmm. They're what we would consider a developing nation. Mm-hmm. So it's a byproduct of that, which is contributing to global warming. Smog reduces lung function among healthy people, triggers asthma attacks, and has been linked to increases in school absences, hospital visits, and premature death.
That pretty much spells it out. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's not really another way about it.
No, it's just poison air you're drinking in your lungs. Drink it in. Come on. Work with me. Yes, and. Number one rule of improv. The injection of fracking waste. The injection of fracking wastewater into underground wells.
Might need to slow down a little bit.
I'm so anxious about this, man. It drives me nuts.
I can tell.
I'm almost done. Almost. Has been linked to earthquakes in several states. And I'll be doing a future expose on the state of Oklahoma specifically, and what it is attempting to do through legal action to combat. Give me a second.
To combat.
I'm gonna cry.
Please don't do that.
They're attempting to do things through legal action to combat the impact of fracking that it's had on an exceptionally numerous amount of fracking-induced earthquakes. So, yeah. In 2014, residents of the central and eastern U.S. felt 659 earthquakes, compared to an average of just 21 per year.
Yeah.
From 1973 to 2008, according to the U.S. Geological Survey.
Wow.
Yeah.
I noticed that there was a huge increase, and that's one thing that puzzled me. Just the sudden influx. Yep. I mean,
they call that graph. There's a specific name for that graph among the USGS. It's called the hockey stick.
Alrighty then.
Mm-hmm. if you have to name a graph, it's clearly a problem.
Yeah.
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 And I think I have that picture on Evernote for the show, for us to look at on the twerp articles. If you go down, it's just a picture. Keep scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
Keep scrolling. Are you on the show note one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, TW calling articles.
It's in there, or no, it might be in a different folder.
That's
it's
all right.
in my earthquake folder. My earthquake folder.
I have an earthquake folder. This is how much publicity it doesn't get regularly.
Yeah.
Which is, yes, they report on it, but they do this sort of, blanket term, and yes, we're just going to move on. Everybody's still happy. We're going to talk about pop culture now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what really...
Yeah, what celebrity did some stupid thing this week?
Right?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much, it seems so... people are supposed to care about this. This is, affecting humans.
They should.
Not just other, not just animals. This is, the planet that we all live on. But, no, I'm really irritated, and that's why I hate the mainstream media. And that's why I actually kind of like doing this whole volunteer, like actually calling attention to real issues.
Oh, yeah.
That
This
we do here.
is called real journalism, folks.
Exactly.
You don't need to go to journalism school to learn how to be a patsy.
No, indeed. You don't.
So, yeah, 659 earthquakes in 1 year, compared to an average of just 21 per year from 73 to 08.
And that's just in the United States?
Oh, yeah. No, that's just in the central and eastern U.S.
Oh, well, see, there we go.
Yeah.
Now we've got some perspective to it.
Yeah, so in conclusion, yes, I am getting to the conclusion, we can see, feel, taste, smell, and even ignite, as we've seen in the videos of people lighting their tap water on fire, the impact that completely unregulated fracking has had on our lives and the planet. In a recent video from April 23rd of this year on Russia Today, a river in Queensland, Australia, was literally set ablaze only a kilometer from a fracking site due to fracked methane bubbling up through the water. Green Party activists went out there and said, hey, look, this is literally happening. Watch. Whoosh. And it just, boom, and then just started flaming in spouts.
Wow.
Yeah, it was astounding.
That's disgusting.
It literally ignited underneath the boat that they were in. It was a metal boat, thankfully.
Well,
But yeah, they were sitting in amongst a river of fire. Environmental America proposes some steps that should be taken to address the environmental and public health threats from fracking across the nation. The simple answer? States should prohibit fracking.
No kidding. I feel like this, okay, I know that the EPA is bought and sold a long time ago, and it's owned and operated by lobbyists, and it's the same thing for the pharmaceutical industry, it's the same thing for the food industry, it's the FDA, it's everything. So that means it's up to people, just regular folks, you, me, everybody else.
Absolutely. To change the system.
To change the system.
That generates these...
To get rid of them.
Politicians, these, we can't just treat the symptoms, we have to destroy the cause,
That's what I'm talking about.
So, yeah.
That is unreal. That's
treat the body, not just the wounds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That only makes sense.
Well, they say here, quote, no plausible system of regulation appears likely to address the scale and severity of fracking's impacts. In places where fracking does continue to take place, fracking should be subject to all relevant environmental laws. Federal policymakers must close the loopholes exempting fracking from key provisions in our nation's environmental laws. Our most important natural areas should be kept off limits. Federal officials should ban fracking on our public lands, including national parks, national forests, and sources of drinking water, all of which have been violated by fracking since 2005.
And this is, once again, this is not just an isolated incident, and this is poisoning people. It's poisoning animals.
Yep.
That right there just kind of...
CEOs of fracking companies have put up legal battles to stop fracking near their homes. Because they know what the problem is.
Yeah.
And they don't want to suffer the consequences themselves. The rest of us can go frack off.
Exactly.
So, it's a simple tactic, folks. We really shouldn't be doing it at all.
Nobody should.
Period. It's one of the most destructive energy-producing processes ever devised and nearly the most inefficient. We need to make serious investments in our renewable energy future. Logic and truth in the numbers is the only way to combat this type of irreversible environmental impact. I know personally that I would like to see my planet exist beyond my lifetime.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that will be the case if current trends persist.
Yeah, persist. Gotta say it that way.
Yeah.
Wow.
To learn more about fracking and to find a link to the complete report composed by Environmental America and Frontier Group, go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/standardbyte, and click the link to the PDF report. That will be up before the end of the show, or after the show. Whatever. It's going to be up today.
It's going to be put there today.
It's free, and you owe it to yourself to be informed on the issue. Truth and logic above all else, folks. Thanks for listening. Also, thinkprogress.org, a great website, has a couple wonderful infographics on this specific report. If you just Google Think Progress Fracking, I urge you to check out their summary as well. So that's my half the show bit
that's my half
on fracking, but that's how they're going to go. Sometimes I want to shed light on something that really needs to be shed light on. So, shed light upon.
Shed light upon.
So let's lighten things up a little bit,
We're going to lighten things up a little bit, but we're going to kind of stay in the same vein of the whole frack off thing.
Yeah, take it away, Leah.
We are going to, here we have 10 Shakespearean insults that work better than the modern ones, which that's near and dear to my little heart. I love Shakespeare. I love literature.
Me too. We did a piece a little while ago about language. Remember the language of Shakespeare?
Yeah, the old...
The translations and
right.
The old penis and fart jokes that were in there.
Yeah. Indeed.
Yep, that only worked in context of that time.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, this is something that I learned historically that was really interesting about the Shakespearean plays. The cheap seats were all the way up front, which is part of the reason for some of the raunchy jokes. Because only the poor people could afford to sit there, and they were not very well read and not very smart and not very...
And some of the raunchy jokes were said rather quietly. So in theaters like the Globe, down in front was the best place to hear those quiet lines.
Yep.
And they got a kick out of it. And that's where you saw the trend of the viewing glasses and stuff like that arise in Victorian people.
Yep.
And in that time period.
And it just means, I love the images that conjures up. It's so funny.
Yeah, box seats were a big thing.
Box seats were a big thing. Opera
Still
boxes,
are, really.
Mm-hmm. Opera boxes.
Not always the best seats, though.
I don't like them.
I don't either.
I don't like to be far away from where the action is happening. Maybe my ancestors were poor people.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they were.
Possibly. We were poor spirits, at least. Anyways, you guys now listening can feel free to call into the show.
Yes.
It's fine. I won't kill your line.
Okay.
260-424-8728.
All right. So we have 10 Shakespearean insults that work better than modern ones. Number 1 is scurvy politician. And I love that.
I still think that applies today.
It was,
I really do.
King Lear, Act 4, Scene 6. Get thee glass eyes and like a scurvy politician seem to see things thou dost. Shakespeare's scurvy means contemptible or despicable, of course, and politician is an insult unto itself. So,
yeah, fair.
Number 2, and this is culture here, so it's not FCC violation. Thou damned luxurious mountain goat.
Yeah, you're quoting something.
I'm quoting something. This is not me violating the FCC codes. Hear me now.
Don't call us. How about that?
Don't call us about that. A luxurious mountain goat might sound like something you'd want to pet, but back in Shakespeare's day, luxurious meant louche or hedonistic.
Yeah.
You hedonistic mountain goat.
Put your horns away.
I love it. All right, number 3, thou damned doorkeeper to every custrel that comes inquiring in this tib. I don't really get that, so we're going to read the breakdown of that one.
Thou damned custrel?
Doorkeeper.
Custard?
Custrel.
Okay.
Like kestrel, but like custard kestrel. I don't know.
The shapely ice cream bird.
That's even funnier than that.
Right?
Okay. Nothing wrong with being a doorkeeper, of course, but when the door in question is the door to a brothel, things take a turn for the worse. In Act 4 of Pericles, custrel originally was just another name for a knight, is a 16th century word for scoundrel. While tib was a byword for a young of low or loose character.
Oh.
Okay, number 4.
Prostitutes.
Where gotst thou that goose look? You look like a goose. That's kind of funny. After he's called the servant bringing him news of an army of 10,000 English soldiers on their way north to a cream-faced loon, Macbeth asks him, "Where gotst thou that goose look?" In other words, Why do you look so stupid?
Huh.
Exactly. Number 5. Base, dunghill, villain, and mechanical. That almost doesn't even make sense. Shakespeare used
You
mechanical.
base dunghill. What was that? Dunghill villain. You
Yeah.
base dunghill villain and mechanical.
And mechanical. I'm not sure. That's really random. But Shakespeare used mechanical to mean a menial and
Do the
unskilled
robot
worker.
lesson.
It's
Oh, I see.
a menial and unskilled worker.
Routine tasks.
So in all in all, a base, dunghill, villain, and mechanical was the lowest of the low. Speaking of dunghills, a bonus fact, Voltaire referred to the few verses and scenes of Shakespeare that he actually admired as, quote, a few pearls which I had found in an enormous dunghill.
Pearls of dunghill wisdom. That's too funny.
I can hear myself, like, I'm going to try to slow down here because I can hear myself having a dyslexia attack.
I've done that too.
I can feel one coming on now because it's contagious. And
Bottom of my shoes are wet. I'm tripping over my tongue so much.
That's funny. All right, number 6, finch egg. That's interesting.
Aw, how cute. Fragile?
Thersites.
There's got to be something related to fragile constitution.
Thersites calls Patroclus a finch egg in Troilus Cressidia, probably in the sense that it's a fairly small and insignificant thing.
Who's this article from?
I didn't even read it, actually. I didn't even read where it was
I'm just
from.
curious so I can point people in the direction. Because that's fun.
It is fun, and I've actually got it on my screen in front of me. I don't have to fart around with papers.
There you go.
Let's see. It looks like independent.co.uk.
Oh, okay. It's from the Independent.
All right, number 7, you Banbury cheese. Alrighty then. Banbury in Oxfordshire is well known for its rich, thick milk cheese. So calling someone a Banbury cheese, as Bardolph does in The Merry Wives of Windsor, is just another way of pointing out how stupid they are.
I gotcha.
Yep.
Dense, dullard, stupid, yeah.
Okay, this sounds like weirdly modern, okay. Number 8, you Bull's Pizzle. Pizzle, P-I-Z-Z-L-E, Pizzle. I'm not kidding.
Wow. Bulls like B-U-L-L''S?
Yeah, bulls, as in belonging to
Oh, okay.
the bull.
I've never seen a pizzle from a bull before.
Well, you know, as well as calling him a starving and elfskin and a dried neat's tongue and a stockfish, all metaphors for scrawny, shrunken next to nothings. Falstaff calls the young Prince Hal a bull's pizzle in Henry IV, Part 1. A pizzle is a wang, of course.
Gotcha.
So,
Brings a whole new meaning to the running of the bull's pizzle.
Number 9, you
It's a
scullion.
delicacy in some countries.
Ugh. Ugh. No.
Pretty sure that's where the word,
God. It gives me the most disgusting mental pictures, I must say.
probably where the word piss comes from.
It probably is. And Shakespeare used that a lot, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he did.
He had a weird urine fetish.
Maybe he did.
Maybe.
Maybe he did. But in England, it meant to be drunk. He's pissed as a newt.
Oh, yeah.
It
That's
meant
right.
to be drunk. So,
How many drunk newts have people seen?
well, I don't know. But that was Monty Pythonism, I think. From way
Yep.
back when.
Yep.
Let's see, number 9. You scullion, you rampillion, you fustillarian. I don't even know what that is. After Falstaff finished calling Mistress Quickly a scullion.
Fustularian?
There you go. Fustillarian, there we go. Mistress Quickly a scullion, a low-ranking drudge, a rampillion, a scoundrel, and a fustillarian. A Shakespearean.
Fustularian?
Fustillarian, a Shakespearean invention probably meaning a fat woman. He shouts, I'll tickle your catastrophe, or in other words, he'll smack her on her behind. I'll
That's
tickle
wonderful.
your catastrophe. That's
Oh, yeah,
so
bring it.
bizarre.
Tickle it.
And
Tickle it with an open palm.
Oh wow, this one gets pretty bad. Number 10, King Lear, Act 2, Scene 2. You horse and cully-only barbermonger.
Wow.
That almost doesn't sound insulting.
That hurt my face to say.
You didn't even say it.
I mouthed it, and I lost a couple teeth. A bad spell.
Or so Kent calls Oswald in Act 2 of King Lear at the end of one of the most protracted slanging matches in literary history.
People really did not get along in a Shakespeare.
No, and they were really hilarious, actually, as I was talking about with Much Ado About Nothing. There was a scene in there where it's Beatrice and, what's his name? The lead male character. I can't think of his name, but it's played by...
King Lear?
No, it's Much Ado About Nothing.
Oh, gotcha.
Much Ado About Nothing.
I don't know.
They have an argument, Beatrice does, with the mailie. Somebody call in and tell me who that is, because I can't remember.
260-424-8728 to tell her how she's wrong and correct her.
Yep, there we go. Always open for corrections.
We don't have too much time in the show. We got to end a little bit early because we got another live show coming in directly after this one.
We do.
Actually, good show. Austin Jeffrey, 90s Takeover. It's gonna be a live music
that's going
show.
to be amazing.
Yep.
That's going to be amazing.
So check that show out. Hang out on WELT here.
Yeah, just keep it on.
Yeah.
Keep tuned in. I don't know if he'll be on YouTube. He might.
I don't know. Probably not. But go to tunein.com and search for WELT to listen to the station.
Or, okay, going back to the horse Coley-only barbermonger, or so Kent calls Oswald in Act 2, at the end of one of the more protracted slanging matches in literary history, as well as calling him a Coley-only barbermonger, in other words, a vain rascal who spends an inordinate amount of time primping his appearance.
Well, I get barbermonger now.
I like that. Barbermonger. I love it. Kent calls Oswald an eater of broken meats, a scavenger, a base, proud, shallow, beggarly, three-suited, 300-pound, filthy, worsted, stocking knave, a vain, scrawny brown-noser, a lily-livered, action-taking knave, a whoreson.
Whoreson? Yeah.
A litigious coward, a glass-gazing, super-serviceable, finical rogue, another brown-noser.
You almost didn't say finical.
It looked like financial there for a second, but that didn't make any sense. The son and heir of a mongrel.
It does these days.
Witch.
Financial rogue. Yeah.
It does.
Most of Wall Street.
One whom I will beat into clamorous whining. Thou deniest the least syllable of thy addition. That almost didn't clarify.
That's a rough one. That one hurts. Anyways,
it really did.
That's some good Shakespeare stuff.
Good Shakespeare.
That's the Independent.
That is
reporting on that one. I want to report on something else. I don't know if you haven't heard. One of my favorite musicians passed away this past week.
Well, I would be very shocked if somebody didn't.
Me too. Prince died. Just collapsed in his elevator and found dead.
In his elevator? I didn't even know where he was found.
In his elevator. Prince was found unresponsive in an elevator Thursday at Paisley Park, and an autopsy was done Friday, but authorities have not released a cause of death and have said results could take days or weeks, unfortunately.
Their toxicology report will be colorful.
Yeah, some of Prince's most beloved family, friends, and musicians celebrated his life in a small private service on Saturday after his remains had been cremated.
Wow.
He was very, very much into the Jesus.
He was very much
Lord and Savior. Yeah, you'd be surprised. As I was saying, go on YouTube and search for Kevin Smith Talks About Prince.
I will do that after the show.
And you will. It's a 31-minute. It's during one of his Q&As where he answers like 2 questions.
Yeah, and
he
it
talks
takes
for an hour.
Yeah. Yep, I did
so
see
it's
the
32 minutes
tour.
on Prince.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, he was at Kent State.
I remember his tour of the universities. I watched a handful of them, and they were really cool.
Yeah.
It was called An Evening with Kevin Smith.
Right, for sure. And we got that. Check on that on YouTube. It's worth it.
I absolutely will.
So, but yeah, Prince dead at 57, unfortunately.
He wasn't even that old.
His publicist, Yvette Knowles Schur, this story comes from Fox News, by the way. I don't typically quote Fox News, but they did a pretty good job on this entertainment article.
There you go.
So, said in a statement that the 57-year-old musician superstar's family and friends gathered in a private, beautiful ceremony to say a loving goodbye. So, it didn't say where the service was held, but percussionist Sheila E. and bassist Larry Graham were seen Saturday entering Prince's suburban Minneapolis estate, Paisley Park, and Prince's sister Tyka Nelson and brother-in-law Maurice Phillips also were seen on the grounds, as were catering trucks. It was a sad day, sad week.
It's been a sad year in music.
Yeah, 2016 can go frack off.
It can. I'm there with you, Dave.
Yeah.
Oh, looks like we're going to have to wrap up here. I did see someone poke their head in.
Heck yeah, Austin Jeffrey is here. Or was here. He just poked his head in.
He poked his head in.
And
now he barges in.
Yeah, 90s Takeover is coming on next. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Good. We're going to cut things loose here soon. I will finish up the rest of these stories on Facebook.com/Standard Byte. You can check out the live stream videos for some of these other stories that we didn't get to.
Indeed.
I'm going to do some to the camera work.
Later
this evening. So
okay.
I'll put that up. That'll be up on YouTube as well.
Well, you've been listening to WELT 95.7 FM. Welt comes to you from the main library downtown and via the tower at IPFW. Welt is generously funded by ESCO Communications and Friends of the Library, who encourage all Allen County residents to come to any branch library and read a book.
During business hours.
That's a thing now, I guess.
Yeah. So feel free any time of the day, night, week, year, month to tweet at us. That's Twitter. You can get us on @StandardByte and use the hashtag ByteMe.
There you go.
BYTEME. Byte me for Twitter. We will see you all next time. I'm David.
I'm Leah.
And this has been the Standard Byte. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.
Okay, these are really
Cool.
hot. These are really hot.
Yeah, they did get a little warm.
Oh, like I'm
stand in
actually
the
otherwise
corner while we
cold
get all
because
this
I'm
done.
cold-blooded, but wowzers.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, here's your pen. Don't forget that.
I forgot my darn thumb drive again. God bless
Oh,
it.
God bless it. Alrighty.
Bye, YouTube.
Bye, YouTube.